In the mid-14th century, the Kathmandu Valley was in ruins. Sultan Shams-ud-Din Ilyas of Bengal had swept through the region, leaving a trail of ash where intricately carved wooden pagodas once stood. The invasion fractured the local society, reaching a demoralizing low point with a devastating theft at Pashupatinath, the region's most sacred religious complex. King Licchavi Malla needed to restore order to a broken kingdom. Rather than deploying standing armies, he deployed the Manav Nyaya Shastra, a sweeping, unified legal code designed to force stability onto a chaotic landscape. This code immediately sorted the surviving population into dozens of strict occupational castes, locking individuals into inescapable social and economic roles based entirely on birth. How did this region transition from a landscape of decentralized mountain tribes into one of the most rigidly codified feudal states in South Asia? For 2,000 years, the political structure of the Kathmandu Valley was shaped by two opposing forces. Indigenous Himalayan tribes prioritized consensus and shared resources, while migrating elites introduced the rigid, hierarchical laws of the Dharma Shastra. Go back to 800 BCE. The Kirat dynasty, the ancestors of today's Rai and Limbu peoples, established a vast, decentralized tribal confederacy across the eastern hills and the Kathmandu Valley. Under leaders like King Yalambar, authority was earned through physical valor and maintained through tribal consensus, rather than claimed through absolute divine right. Their legal system relied on the mundum. The mundum is an oral animistic scripture passed down by shamans that prioritizes restorative justice and communal compensation to resolve disputes, rejecting punitive state violence. This map illustrates how that collective mindset extended to the soil itself through a system known as Kipat. Kipat is a tenure framework where territory is owned communally by the clan rather than carved up into individual private plots. Because land could not be bought or sold by individuals, no single family could accumulate massive generational wealth. The economic structure remained flat. Kipat governance demonstrates that early Himalayan sovereignty relied on collective survival and resource sharing. For over 1,000 years, they maintained a stable society without strict social stratification. That dynamic shifted around 300 CE. The Licchavis migrated north from the Indian plains, bringing with them the Hindu Dharma Shastra, a religious and legal framework that prioritized strict social hierarchy. The tribal chieftain was replaced by the Maharaja. This new role positioned the king as the central authority and the primary protector of the cosmic moral order. The Licchavi centralized power by creating adhikaranas, specialized bureaucratic offices acting on the king's behalf. The Kuthera extracted taxes, while the Sulya punished major crimes. For day-to-day operations, they implemented panchalis, village committees managing local irrigation, disputes, and temple properties. By delegating these day-to-day operations, the Licchavis avoided micromanagement. They built the blueprint for the modern state by balancing centralized authority with functional local autonomy. Fast forward back to the late 1300s. King Licchavi Malla took that Licchavi bureaucratic blueprint and pushed it to its extreme, using his Manav Nyaya Shastra to fuse religious duty with state governance. He engineered society into 64 specific occupational subcastes. By enforcing hereditary labor, the state ensured vital skills were retained across generations, eliminating unemployment. This categorization extended to the soil, grading property into 4 tiers of productivity to maximize tax extraction. This panoramic view of Kathmandu Durbar Square shows the result. The massive revenue generated by this highly controlled system funded a dazzling architectural golden age, transforming the Kathmandu Valley into a network of dense, wealthy city-states. The Mallas achieved peak economic and structural prosperity, but they built it entirely through the institutionalized weaponization of social and spatial inequality. That extreme rigidity was also a fatal flaw. The top-heavy, highly stratified state broke under the weight of royal infighting. By 1482, the kingdom had fractured into 3 warring city-states. This internal division paralyzed the valley. Exhausted by constant territorial disputes, the once great cities were left vulnerable to 18th century conquest by the expanding Gorkha kingdom. Yet the structural scaffolding of these ancient dynasties never truly vanished. The Licchavi Panchali system evolved directly into modern local governance and the communal Guti networks that still manage valley resources today. The ancient Kirat communal land system survived until it was formally abolished in 1964. That decision stripped indigenous groups of their traditional resources and directly fueled modern Janajati political movements demanding regional autonomy. And Licchavi Malla's 14th century penal code established a direct legal lineage to the 1854 Maluki Ain, setting the historical stage for contemporary civil rights struggles over caste representation and equality. The history of the Kathmandu Valley demonstrates that a nation's identity is defined as much by its internal social divisions as its external borders. The ancient struggle over belonging and structure remains a central feature of the modern political landscape.